The US-backed Iraqi army has edged closer to Mosul's old city in its fight against Islamic State as thousands of civilians are forced to flee the area. Refugee camps around the city are overwhelmed, with over 270,000 people displaced in Mosul since the operation began back in October. And the UN has warned that the intensified fighting is making it more difficult for people to escape the battleground. RT's Murad Gazdiev is on the ground in Mosul. He spoke to families fleeing the fighting.
Western Mosul, early afternoon. Iraqi soldiers and jihadist fighters exchange fire near the center of the city. Oddly enough, now is the chance for civilians to flee.
This is how it happens. This is the only way for civilians to leave ISIS-held areas. They have to walk literally through the crossfire between the Iraqi army and ISIS.
On cue, one lucky family came out of a side street. For 2 long years, they lived under ISIS. These are their first minutes of freedom.
مشتعل سيارات طيارة
شعلوا السيارات الأطفائية شعلوا السيارات الأطفائية.
ISIS does it to hide themselves behind smoke. After all, you can't hit what you can't see. And in some cases, airstrikes do it for them. This one hit a fuel depot.
Over there, 600-700 meters away, is the aftermath of an airstrike that hit minutes ago, just before we got here. But this is what happens. The airstrike hits, the civilians use the confusion to get out, and the Iraqi army moves in.
Getting out isn't as simple as it sounds. Civilians have to be led through a warren of near-demolished neighborhoods under constant risk of shelling. It's a grueling journey to safety.
Refugees who make it out of Mosul are brought here, 20 minutes outside the city in Hammam al-Ali. Now, camp authorities tell us that as many as 2,000 families are brought here every day. Here, they wait for buses that will take them to other refugee camps where they'll stay until the city is liberated. 2,000 to 3,000 families daily.
It is an exodus unparalleled in recent history, unmatched also are their stories of survival.
كثير تدمرت المنطقة تدمرت دمار كامل لأن أشنو لأن هو الإرهاب حيقصف من داخل البيوت المدنية.
Every refugee we spoke to echoed the sentiment. Mosul is being subjected to virtual demolition.
هو داعش اي ما بيت يفوت بيه
هو داعش دمرنا
ورا ماكو نص ساعه ربع ساعه ينقصف هذاك البيت.
تخبلنا والله لكنا 12 يوم احنا محصورين احنا وهذول الولد. ابني الباحة كان يموت، الطياره ضربت وخاف غمى عليه.
US-led coalition spokespeople and the survivors of Mosul tell very different stories about airstrikes. In one version, they're precise and targeted. In the other, they're relentless and deadly.
هنا الطيارة ما تضرب الهدف بالضبط. يعني اكو كثير احنا شغلات يموتون عوائل اكثر من عيلة. اكثر من 7 عوائل يعني قاعدين مثلا
اي والله كثير. والله اول البارحة جيراننا 4 تجرحوا. ادوية ماكو. ليش تجرحوا؟ مقصف الحكومة قصفوا. من قرية النزازة صفوا على المحلبية وتجرحوا. اي نعم بالمدفع.
Such an onslaught would have cowed almost anyone. Murad Gazdiev, RT from Mosul, Iraq.